Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of This Week in Reselling. After Dark. All right. So, guys, we're here with our girl, Liz, Colorado Reworn, and we left you a little bit on the cliffhanger from last episode. We're talking about enhancing your eBay store's visibility. Liz, you left off with keywords in the titles because they're searchable via Google, correct?
Right. Yes, we don't say the G word because what happened is I said the G word and started talking, and I have dictation on my computer, and that picked it up and closed the window. But yes, so I right click, do the image search, and really just see what retailers are using. I try and put as much in the title or item specifics to describe my items. I cross post, so eBay Poshmark. So I make sure that I'm hitting both of those because Poshmark doesn't have item specifics. So I normally go overboard. And yeah, so make sure that you're using appropriate keywords for people to find your items and not just a brand, a style, color, something. And really just make your list and be competitive. I used to way overprice myself to send out lower offers or get offers. For me lately, that hasn't been working. So I've just been kind of bringing my prices down and being a little more realistic and accepting less of a percentage off. And that's just been working for me now. But really your store. So the whole thing is about the store. And there goes my dog again. Sorry. She's got a whisper bark.
See, we barely hear her.
We can barely hear her.
Okay, good. But the main thing is it's enhancing your store.
The dog sounds like this. That's right here.
She's just laying on the floor.
Oh.
My old little girl. She's like 14.
Oh.
She's a setter and a retriever.
Okay.
But we're talking about stores. So if you do have a storefront, take advantage of it. Put the banner, run sales if you can, because there's a little sale tab. So if people happen into your store and you click the sale button, they'll be like, hey, what kind of deals are going on? You'll get an oops. The buyer will get an oops page. So I'm really bad about that. I don't run as many sales as I should, but that's one of the things that can help. And really just setting it up. eBay it's just such they template so much of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a graphic designer. You don't have to know how to set up a website. It's just there. Another thing with stores is a store newsletter. It's free.
Do you do that?
Yes, I have it on auto.
Yeah, so do I.
I tried it and it didn't work. I don't know what.
Tell us about it. Tell us a little bit about it, because I'm
that.
sure some people don't know what that is.
Yeah, I've never done that. 27 years, never done it.
Look, I just started doing it like a year and a half ago. My storefront was set up and I was like, what's a newsletter? It was just scary, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to do all that. There's I think there's 5 or 6 different templates to where if you run a sale, you can just send off a newsletter and pick who you want this newsletter to go out to. Your subscribers, your followers, past buyers, people that have bought within the last 30 days, or I just click them all and let eBay figure it out.
Yeah.
If they're duplicates, right?
So what do you
but
write?
I have
one on there hi, my name is Liz. This is what I have for sale. These are the new items that I have. These are.
Yeah, I was going to say that. If you, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, go.
Yeah, if you have followers, you can set it up to where it's when you add new stuff, when you put new listings up, it'll send them stuff this is what's new in Liz's store or whatever, and they'll get that in an email.
Yeah. Mine is hey, for a limited time, just added these items. And I have you can set it up to send out every week, every 2 weeks. I have mine the 4th Thursday of the month. Figure a Thursday's good to hit a weekend buyer.
Yeah.
And eBay it sends the same. So the items that they show in the newsletter are just my most recently listed items. So it could be a
Love
brand
that.
new item that I just listed, or could be something that I delisted and relisted for like the last.
Do they
few
give you any
years.
kind of analytics to see what the conversion rate is from newsletter to items sold?
No. So,
man.
and this was got a beef to pick.
Yeah.
So that was one of my big things when I was at Open. I was like, hey, you guys have a great product. You can see a generic. It'll tell you how many people you reached in the
Mhm.
last 30 days. It'll tell you how many people you reached, what the open rate is, and what the click rate was.
Mm.
So I have always had, so I think, and I was talking to a marketer outside of eBay, or you can just Google it. I think like the average open rate is like of any newsletter in across any industry is something like under 2%. Right? To whatever. I've got like a 5% open rate. The click-through rate is like normally like 1%. I'm like at a 1.9 or a 2.5%. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about, I spent 10 minutes putting it together and I never have to think about it again. eBay's doing the work for me.
Right.
And let's just say, so next week, I am going to list men's swim trunks, right? Because I noticed in January, I sold like a handful of swim trunks. I'm like, okay, I'm a bulk buyer. We talked about that. I buy a lot at once. I have 4 totes of men's swim trunks, new with tags that need to get listed.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of multiples. It's probably only going to be like 15 listings, but I had other stuff that I had to get listed. So that goes on the back burner. So what I'll probably do is do a specific newsletter just for that and offer a 10% coupon for being a loyal follower, buyer, whatever.
Ooh. That's only on
Okay.
the newsletter?
Well, I can make a coupon. So this is another, you have a store, you get to do coupons and sales to where if you don't have a store, you can't. So you can make a private coupon.
Mm-hmm.
And so only people that have that code, it's not going to put it on every listing.
Mm-hmm.
Only people in the email will get it. Or if you want to share it to social media and be like, hey, all my Instagram followers can get 25% off. That will be that one. But you can put a coupon in that one. So, and the only people, and I would name it something like newsletter 10 for this went to my newsletter. It was 10% off. I can track the sales from the newsletter that way.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to your coupons and see how many purchases were made like that. But I mean, there's so many, like I'm kind of creative, but there are some sellers that'll be like, I do all of this. And I'm like, that's amazing. But again, I mean, like some people are just so organized and I'm like, not. But with newsletters, buyers, and you can only get them once every 2 weeks. So if you're sending a newsletter every week, not everybody's going to get them.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I kind of do is I've got my set newsletter last Thursday of the month. And if I want to run a sale, I'll start it and then send out a newsletter the next day, but it'll be like in the middle of the month. So that people can get a sale newsletter in the middle of the month. And then 2 weeks later, hey, this is new. And then 2 weeks later, hey, here's a coupon. And then 2 weeks later, this is new. So you can kind of set it up that way. But for those that are like, no, I don't have the time or I don't want to do that, I say just go in, set up the newsletter to recur, and you never have to think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
eBay's they're sending out the emails for us. And if nobody opens it, so what?
I get them.
It's exposure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's free advertising.
Yeah.
I gotta check in mine. I don't even remember what I have in mine or not. It's been so long since I've done it. I set it up, so
eBay's just going to send out whatever the newest listings.
Yeah,
like your word. I think mine is kind of set up like, thanks for following. Exciting things are happening at Colorado Reworn. Look what I just listed, or don't miss out, or check out our one of a kind items. Whatever.
UX.
Yeah, whatever works for you. But yeah, I mean, those are things that kind of help your store's visibility. And we kind of talked about promoted listings a little bit on the other episode, to where I did a test. And actually, I was going to say, Kristen, and I'll just do a shameless plug. I don't care. You don't have to follow me. But if you go to my profile on Instagram at Colorado Reworn, I have a highlight reel, and I have every 30 days, every single day for 30 days of how it worked for me. And like, I think on like day 10, I changed up my strategy. So yeah, there should be that middle one.
This one?
On the very top, that little white dot.
This?
I was getting ready to point at it, like you can see what I'm doing.
Me
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Oh,
there
this
you go.
right here.
Yeah, that right there. So those are highlight reels, and you're gonna get so tired of it, but it's every single day for 30 days.
So you could decide whether or not. I like it that you not only analyzed it for 30 days, because that's 30 days more than I would.
I had a coupon. I got 75% off from eBay. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to do it and document it.
Well, the documenting, you say you're not organized, but it feels like, so
I have you fooled.
The facade that you've created is great. That you're so organized with the information, with the data, with the results that you have, and that's what I really appreciate, because I feel like I don't pay enough attention to that. So I'm really counting on you to do all this work for me. I want to see your charts and graphs, because they're going to be the same as mine, I'm sure.
Right. Well, sometimes it just helps. Like, I kind of think about, like, if somebody did this that sold auto parts, would I still watch it? And the answer was yes. Like, if somebody that sold books did the same test, would I watch it and try and extract what I needed for my business? The answer was yes. So I'm like, okay, I'll do this. Of course, I just did my whole store, and then I changed it in the middle, and it just worked out. And I'm actually probably going to do it again. Maybe not for 30 days, but when I get those then swim trunks up.
Yeah, just to isolate one particular item, that would be cool to find out. Yeah,
just to see.
I love it that it's fun for you, because it's not fun for me, but it's fun for me to watch you.
Well, I'm so happy for that.
Yeah, I like to see what your results are, but I'm not very good at creating the data. You know, you're very good at it. Like, if like Ray just asked, where's the analytics for this? I don't know. They have things like that. I don't know how to do that. So I love it that you do share that in a way that doesn't make you feel like, I can't believe you don't know this. I can't believe you don't treat your business better than this. I can't believe, I feel like that is how it is conveyed often, that you need to know your numbers. Well, I know my numbers, but I don't have analytics.
I think it's a fine line. It's like some people are so deep in the weeds of numbers that like they're missing the points. Like they can, because you can get deep in the weeds, but it's like, aren't you supposed to be listing? Aren't you supposed to be taking pictures? Aren't you supposed to be doing like the time needs to be somewhere else.
But I
That's
think
my
some
opinion.
people find that fun. And I'm knowing all those numbers and then putting in a chart and a graph and things. I think that people really like that.
I'm not one of those people at all.
I can't. I try, but I can't. I want to, but I don't.
I'm the in-between person. Okay. I'm like, I'm not going to get that far in the weeds unless I know I need data from it.
Yeah.
So one of the things is, my cross-listing software, I can just input my sales. Some people are like, I don't even do that because I have accounting software. I'm like, yeah, I got that too. But I track it because I was on like 6 different platforms, and I took 2024 and I looked at the data, and I'm like, what am I even doing on these other platforms that are selling $400 a year? Now I have to open up the app. I have to get the stupid ass lowball offers off of my page, answer the stupid questions, right? I'm like, why am I doing this for $400 a year? Dump it. Bye.
I was gonna,
so I use that data. I knew I was collecting the data for a purpose.
And that, you're saving time. You got $400, but it's the time that you don't get back.
How long do we think Macari is gonna last?
Was that one of the platforms that you're like, let's get out of here?
Yeah. So Mercari was like 2,800 last year in sales. That wasn't profit. So that was gross, right? And I do free shipping. I was just doing free shipping on Mercari because it just made sense. But so that was gross. And I'm like, it's not for me. For some people are like, I would have been thrilled with $3,000.
Mhm.
And that's great. Then keep it.
Mhm.
It wasn't worth it to me. Right. So that was probably like $1,800 net. I didn't even look at that, but it was like, we think about micro decisions that we make every day. We make like 20,000 micro decisions every day, whether it be, should I say that? Should I list this? Do I need to do that? I need to go upstairs. The dog needs out. That I need to open the Mercari app. I need to do this. I need to send offers. I need to delist and relist. I need to do that. It's up here. And then when it comes time for taxes, that's another 1099. You gotta, you know what I mean? So it is taking time. People are like, oh, but it only takes 5 seconds to cross list. That's the least of my worries. Like making those micro decisions to open the app, to accept the offer, to, like all of those things. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if it's one of those platforms that you don't have a lot of activity with, for me, I would like forget about it until I got the third email that says, hey, you better do this or else you're going to be in trouble. I don't like that. So I just, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
I can't manage that. And I know that about me.
Yeah, but with Mercari, I mean, it's never been great for me. I know I did some reels and some jokes because it was just easy content for Instagram. Poke fun at them, right?
It's like, yeah, Mercari sucks.
They really do. But I mean, they're never going to go away because they're a Japanese company and they're huge in Japan. They just broke into the US market, not even 5 years ago, maybe? Like for mainstream resellers, it was just during the pandemic. They come up and I don't know. I thought it was great at first because they would always come up in Google searches. But just because it came up in a search didn't mean people clicked on it and bought it.
Yeah. It is cool to see it in that GOOGLE place. But I've never downloaded the app. I've never been on the app. I've never opened the app. It wasn't ever something that I thought, oh yeah, I totally want to do that. It just hadn't.
Right.
I just haven't. So I have tried a few other ones. I just sold something recently on Vestiaire.
Yeah.
That's the first time that I've ever successfully sold something on that app. And it was cool to be able to try other things, but I don't know if I'll do a whole lot of it because it was one of those things again, where 4 days later, I get the email that says, if you don't do this, we're going to cancel the sale. Oh, I guess I didn't get the notification on my phone that there was a sale, so I didn't know.
Or it came through with the other 780 notifications that we get a day.
Right, because
and it gets lost.
How many emails do you get that says your label was created in eBay? This item in eBay was listed. I wish they would.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to turn that off, right? Where you get it like your label's ready or like free eBay. Because I was like, I don't need that email.
Yeah. No, I haven't done any of that. I love it that people will tell me that I can, but I just suffer through it until somebody says, you can turn that off.
Until it becomes so annoying where you're like,
yeah, it's not that annoying yet. I mean,
but are you guys all on Mercari?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Doing okay on it? You gonna stick it out?
No.
How long so then how long are each of you gonna give it?
Great question.
And what's stopping you from getting rid of it today?
Because like you say, it takes me like 10 seconds to put my stuff on there. But like all I get is likes on there. I don't get offers or like I don't know. Yeah. I don't even bother to send offers because they don't never go anywhere. So I'll probably give it this year, and then after that,
track it.
I don't even remember the last time I got a sale on there. It's probably been like 3 months at least 3 months.
I did a few weeks ago.
Did you?
I have no idea what it was, but yeah.
What cross-listing platform do you use, Liz?
I use Vendoo.
Vendoo.
That's what I use.
Have you used any of the other ones?
Yeah.
And why are you sticking with Vendoo besides any of the other ones?
So I am one that I will give anything a chance, right? So I'm about business. I am over the days, and I used to work for another cross-listing software company, and we'll just leave it at that. But I was loyal to them because it worked great. And some people still use it and it works well for them, and that is fantastic. But I'm also one, I'm running a business. And when it comes to loyalty, that goes to a very far extent with me, but it's not end of the road. I love Vendoo. I love the community. I love the way it works for my business. But if something drops tomorrow and it works better for my business, I'm going to switch. But I'm constantly looking and testing out other ones. There's another company that recently reached out to me for their, not cross-listing, but Posh Share Bot. And I told him, I was like, I love your company. I love the way it works, but you're missing this feature. And that's one thing that my other one has. They're like, how can we help? And I'm like, I will screen record my process and I'll send it to you. And when you get it there, I'll switch. It's just business. But at the end of the day, the only reason that I stick with them is they have the tools that I need and it's the fastest. I'm about efficiency, right? So what's going to be more efficient? And for me, that one's efficient.
What do you use for sharing on Posh? What
Sidekick.
Sidekick. Okay.
So, and it's all run on your phone. I don't want to have to leave a tab open. I work off of a laptop, and I plug it into the screen and I take my laptop everywhere. So it's open and shut all day. So I don't want to have to rely on that or setting up certain times I don't want to think about it. Just share my crap. Let me be right. And Sidekick does that.
What's the other one that you got to leave the computer open or? There's
a lot of great ones. Prime Lister is a great one.
I use that. I like it.
Okay, yeah. So they're, oh my god, yeah, that's right. You and I talked about it. They're an amazing company.
And there's a lot of places that do the share. Yeah, and I think sometimes too, it just depends on where your price point's at or your experience with their service, their customer service. That weighs a lot for me also.
Yeah.
I just think I think it's really cool, Liz, that it's like you worked for a different cross-listing company. I think you chose to go with Vendoo, even though you worked. So that says that.
Well, it was after I no longer worked for them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait.
You could probably still went with your old company, but
I used them for a while because it was great until I was like, oh, this company came out with a feature that sparked my interest. I'm like, let me give this a try. And I was like, oh, this process is so much faster for me. I need to just use it. And since starting, I have tried other ones. Like I tried Flip, and it's great for those. I will recommend Flip for those starting out or that don't manage as many listings. But for me, I'm at the point to where I just need it to work. Right. I just need it to work and I need it to be efficient. And I don't want to have to deal with fixing problems. And I really don't have to do that with them. But when something else comes out, I will try it out. And I'm like, oh, I'm excited for this. And I'm like, ooh, there's another one. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. They don't support multi-quantity listings. Well, like 40% of my stores, new with tags, I get those and I get repeatable items. I have to have that. So I just say, pick whatever you think works for you, but also don't get so jaded and comfortable just because all my friends are using it or whatever, test things out.
I think my biggest thing with Vendoo is they have an app. And I just do it from the phone.
And don't get me wrong, there's still things I'm like, I wish they had. There's still things about them that annoy me. But it works the best for my business. I mean, let's be real. I mean, exactly. Like with eBay, I love eBay, but there's things that they could be doing better. And
like what?
Things that I've brought up to them over and over and over.
Yeah.
Like what? Because everybody, I alluded to this.
Yep.
We get frustrated with eBay sometimes. We
Yeah.
feel like it's like a dinosaur to everything that's going on. Like just the back end of things and things being glitchy and things not working, and it's like I think of eBay like an old car that is still working. It's still running. You know, it might have 300,000 miles on it. We might, might have some duct tape here and there, but it's still doing the trick. So I don't know if any of those concerns have come that you've brought up to your CEO friends over at eBay.
My buddies.
Yeah.
No. Well, so it's funny that you actually compared it to a car, because it just got me thinking. I was talking to a team member that he talks a lot to Gen Z, right? So he's kind of that bridge. Like, why? Like, he was telling me about, think tank's the wrong word, but they had a whole conference with Gen Z users. Like, what's important to you in a platform? Like, when you buy online, it's just this focus group. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And he said, they talk about a lot of stuff because eBay does this outreach. Like, how can we be relevant? Why are you on Depop? Why is that your go-to platform? What can we be doing better? And they're like, look, what they concluded is Depop and those sites like that they're the Lamborghinis, they're the flashy shiny it thing right now, and eBay's like your Honda Civic that's got 300,000 miles. It's not pretty, but it's going to get you what you need, and it's going to get you there safe and reliable and fast, right? Not really fast, but that's kind of how they compared the flashy new sites. And then eBay's like your Honda Civic with probably missing a hubcap, and right. and they're receptive to that. One of the cool things, when I was there, is the first things out of the team's mouths are, hey, we love that you guys love eBay, otherwise you wouldn't be here. We love that you love selling on our platform, otherwise you wouldn't be here. We know that things work for you because you're selling things. We don't need praise and accolades. We need to know what's not working and what you want to see improved. So let's just cut to the chase. Like, that was literally, tell us what's not working. And there was a lot, and there was not enough time in 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Right? I think there were 25 sellers, and, like the shipping department would come in and give us a briefing on, hey, here's what's going on in shipping. What could we be doing better? People are like, why the hell can't I put in my credit card and get my points and pay for shipping? They're like, oh, well, you can go to PayPal. I was like, no, I didn't ask for a workaround. Why can't it be done? Loud and clear, they've heard us. I mean, they know that has to be done.
That's why people use pirate ship and Shippo and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I do too. And I was like, I
liked that when we were at Boss and eBay had representatives there, and they had that big table that had a like papers on them that said, how can we do this? What do you feel? And then they would have cards, and so that you could write down your questions, write down your ideas, write down your problems, and they would address them to you right there. They weren't afraid of confrontation, not necessarily confrontation. They weren't afraid of trying to resolve conflict for whatever problem that you had. I love that about them, though. Also, when you had your meetups and you had the eBay people come there, they, at the end of their presentation, they were talking about promoted listings at that particular one. They wanted to sit down with you and like, look at your store. How can we help you do this? Let's discuss this. What can we help you do better? I love that they are receptive to the things that we have questions about, have concerns about, need help with, want better for the site. I like it that they are open-minded about it, though, where other sites sometimes they're just like, here it is, sell it. We may or may not ever talk to you again.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, well, that's true. But you know what? A lot of times, I don't think that I've ever come across an eBay seller at events like that where they just go up and they're like, up in their face, mean about it, right? There's a way to convey your thoughts and to be like, hey, like one of the changes eBay did, and I don't know that anybody else used this, is when you start a sale, I used to do a tiered, like a waterfall sale. So I'd put like 5 items on 50% off, 100 items, 30% off, and like the rest of my store, 10% off. So the banner across my store would be up to 50% off on every item. And then when you go to the storefront and you click on the sale tab, all the sales were in one tab. Now that's 4 different sales to where a buyer has to click in and out of each sale. And I told him, I was like, that's the dumbest thing that you took that away. Why did you do that? They're like, oh, people weren't using it. I was like, why do you think that is? It's just a great way to market your items, a great way for customers to be able to access your sale. You just made it harder.
Yeah.
And people didn't use it because you didn't sell it. Like, why didn't you say, here is a great feature? You never once talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've brought that up every opportunity I get. And they were like, oh, that was so-and-so's product. When he comes in, tell him about it. So I said so-and-so. I was like, are you responsible for taking that off? He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, not a good move. No. He's like, well,
Bad boy.
oh, we'll look at it. I'm like, but will you?
He's
like,
call him
yeah. I
out.
was like,
Let them
You
know.
have such a nice way of saying, I'm mad at you.
Like, okay, but I also know this. I'm also not naive enough to know that when I tell somebody something, they're like, that's a great idea. We're going to look into it.
Yeah.
Will it ever come to fruition? I don't know. Another really hot topic, probably one of the ones that everybody brought up, was bundling items.
Yay.
Making it easy for customers to bundle items. And we gave them 50 scenarios of why their current system does not work.
I feel like you can do that everywhere else except eBay.
Absolutely.
So what did they say?
We hear you.
Oh.
But this was through so many different teams. Yeah.
Did they want you to put it
mean,
in the cart? Does the cart thing work?
No. If an item's on sale, you cannot even request a receipt, right? Like you can't even, if Kristen were to put items in a cart, she cannot request an invoice if the items are on sale. It'll give her a red, no, you can't, because these items are on a promotion. And we've told eBay, we're like, why is that a thing? Why are you guys? And honestly, it's about getting the information in front of the right person.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, we were sitting there, they're like, oh, that's not our team, but hold on, I've got a Slack for that. Okay, let me do this person. Oh, they're working on that actually. They're testing this right now. Like literally, as we're sitting there talking to these teams. One other thing that I will say, if you don't have a direct line to eBay, or you don't, when you're on the app or where you're on a page on eBay and you're like, this sucks, I don't like this. They did something with shipping labels a while back, and it made me so mad. Every time I opened up the shipping labels, I sent them a "this sucks" type of a thing. But let me give you a hint on that. So eBay reads every single one of those. So if you go to send us feedback or whatever, we've got cattails, we've got dog barks, or if you're on your phone, you can shake your phone on any eBay page.
Yeah.
So you can shake it to send feedback. They read those. So they will never contact you back. They just don't. So put as much information into that email as possible. So what I like to do is, instead of "this sucks," that gives them no information, right? They're like, okay, this sucks. Why does it suck? I'm like, hey, I really dislike this. Here's why. You've put a barrier in front of me. I'm thinking like a customer. If I were a customer, I wouldn't like this because ABC. And what I want to see is it would work better if you did D, E, F. So it's just all out there.
Yeah. I think that
we have to know.
Results are good. Your solutions are always good. I can tell you why I don't like it, but I can't always give you a solution.
Right. I am so sorry. I have to pause, or I have to mute really quick and get her out.
Good?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, she's got all kinds of information all the time. If you're not following her on Instagram, you need to go open up your app now, and follow her.
I think it's great that we know that at least eBay is reading every one of those feedbacks.
Yeah.
So it's not like just, what is it, laying on deaf ears.
Yeah.
That they're actually taking into account everything that we've said about them, and they're aware of what the community is saying. They're aware of things that are working, things that are not working.
Mhm.
And I know Liz, you've mentioned earlier, you just touched base on advertising. That's one of my pet peeves too, is like eBay doesn't do a good of a job as advertising as I think they need to. Like the only thing that I see is eBay Automotive
Mhm.
being advertised. And I mean, how are we going to reach this new Gen Z generation if they don't even know about it?
Have you seen the new ads?
I have not. No.
Yeah, they came up with vintage, fashion, and I think collectibles. There's a couple new commercials. I've started seeing them on Peacock and Hulu, I think.
Tubi, maybe.
So Universal.
Maybe. Yeah, but and they're also on the eBay YouTube page. And I really don't know. I mean, they used to have really good commercials and then it ended, right? We had
Yeah.
years of nothing. But those were the years that eBay was doing really well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you look at how eBay has done over the years, 2021 was their best year. I mean, but also, let's back up and look at that. That's when we started paying for advertising and promoted listings. So they're getting their money a lot from that. So they didn't really have to advertise.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish they would.
Pay to play.
I know it's not cheap. I know it's a huge expense, but I mean, where are they meeting Gen Z and even like millennials? It's TikTok.
Yeah, I was
They
just
do
going to say, I'd
collaborations
love
with
to see a
TikTok.
reel. I would love to see a TikTok. That
Yeah.
would definitely reach like
Mhm.
my kids' age. That's
Right.
all they do is they scroll.
Right. So I think they did a lot with sneakers. I think they did a
Yeah.
lot with luxury. So luxury watches, I mean, that's just bank for them. Luxury watches and luxury bags. And then collectibles. So sports cards, Pokemon cards. I mean, those are the money makers. And people get so sick and tired. I mean, I used to get sick and tired of hearing it. Now I get it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sound like an eBay plant when I say this, but you get Gen Z on the platform to buy a pair of shoes. They might buy a pair of socks and then see that video game from the 80s that they had. And they're probably on their first car that's used and they might need,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, it's just waterfall effect.
Yeah.
And eBay has the numbers to prove that, yeah, the people that buy luxury, the people that buy sneakers also spend in other categories.
Well, I think they also wanted to drive home that eBay is not one of those fly by night. You're going to get a luxury bag that's not really luxury. They wanted to drive home that they authenticate that stuff. I think that was the creating trust with the platform, I think is going to trickle down into all the other things too. So they're going to go get their toothbrushes there while they're picking up their Gucci bag that has been authenticated, or their Nike sneakers that have been authenticated, so that they know that they're real.
And they get a good experience. And they're like, oh, maybe I'll go back. One of the things, where is it, on TikTok or Instagram right now? My algorithm right now is huge on eBay Japan. Oh, you've got to go get your vintage Gucci bag from eBay Japan. It like tons of unboxings, like every third reel is a different creator. So one of two things happened. A big creator bought a bag on eBay Japan and made content and it blew up. So people are trying to emulate it. Or somebody did a reel, eBay saw it and said, how can we make this go viral?
Yeah.
And reached out to creators to do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's amazing, right? I don't sell on eBay Japan. I don't sell luxury handbags. But if we can get those brains with that eBay name plant, they might come across my.
Well, you do though. You've got international
that I'm going to list. But yeah, no, I totally get it because I loved the old eBay commercials. They were great.
Now, I wanted to bring this up too. What are we doing with eBay live selling? Like, do you know anything? Like, are we doing it? Are we not doing it? It's like kind of like like in the pool, just checking to see what the water temperature is like.
Yeah.
One toe in at a time.
So it's still going, and they're still onboarding new sellers. They just started, because I know it started with collectibles, right? This is like the slowest rollout of a product I've ever seen in my freaking life. But so they did what? Collectibles, cards, and luxury, like
I think
handbags,
that's
watches.
luxury. That's the last one you sent me, right? Joe or Kristen? I can't remember who.
I don't
sent
know
me
what
the
you
show.
I think so.
So, but
yeah,
they
I
started
think I-
doing pre-loved clothing. And they onboarded a couple sellers, and I actually, I mean, again, I just feel lucky and privileged to where, so eBay has a program that they're rolling out. It's the pre-loved partner program. I was able to get in on that. So I get a badge on all my pre-loved listings. I'm a pre-loved partner, which opened another door where I was like, well, if I'm doing this, why can't I do live selling? And they're like, we actually just closed it off. We're going to start up again next year.
Oh.
But so there's a couple people doing used clothing. And as a matter of fact, Style Secondhand, she's on Instagram. She was one of the presenters last year. She started doing live selling of clothes and she took off. So she just posted a reel. She was at eBay headquarters last week to where she got to do a live show from there and talk to them kind of about her experiences both in pre-loved and in live selling. So it's not gone. eBay's still expanding it, but I think that I said the year before last, I told one of the employees, I was like, can you guys just give up on it already? It's not going to take off.
Do it or don't.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I will tell you this. I don't watch live selling. I
don't either. Except
like in the beginning, like when Kristen would first started and she would do a show, or when my other friends are like, hey, I'm going to do one, I would watch, but I don't even have any of them on my phone.
Have you tried selling on there? I feel like you would kill it on Whatnot.
No, it's so much time for. I can't. I don't. That's a whole other job within itself. But so I resell. It's not right or wrong, but I know why I resell, and it's for my freedom.
Yeah.
And it's for I don't want to be on a schedule.
Yeah, that's where I had a hard time with it. I struggled with that. I want to do it. I feel pressure to do it, but watching social media.
Yeah.
I'll probably do it again someday, but right now it just doesn't work into my schedule. So I'm not going to.
Right.
I just feel like people that do well on it have to be on it like all the time.
Oh, that's true.
You know, and I don't want,
Yeah.
It's
just not my.
Yeah.
Like right now, like, that's where I do the majority of my reselling, Liz, is on Whatnot.
That's
and
awesome.
I haven't been live in probably 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm like a little stressed about it because I know that the day that I come back, it's not going to be like the previous show because people, out of sight, out of mind situation.
Right. So, but let me ask you this. Do you keep like a storefront on Whatnot? So people can buy
stuff there that are, that people can buy.
Okay. Do people normally buy it even when you don't have shows? So it's been 2 or 3 weeks. Are people still buying?
No.
Okay.
I've only ever sold like 3 things on there, and I've been on there since the beginning of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually when that happens is when you have a show and everything that you have on your storefront, you can import it to the show like quickly.
Right.
So like if you're not running an auction, people can look at your buy it now and they can just start purchasing stuff from there.
Right.
Yeah.
But they just typically don't, right?
Not
like I'm
necessarily.
onboarded for Whatnot. I did the whole onboarding and I was all excited and I'm like, didn't have it in me. Same with Posh.
Yeah. I did one Posh show.
I did a silent show.
Did you? Did you have success with it? No.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. In theory, it sounds great. And I've like hyped myself up probably 10 different times to do a show. And I just don't follow through with it.
It doesn't, I think that's the thing that we also just like there's no wrong way to do it.
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
it
there's no-
exists. You don't have to do live shows to be successful at reselling. And I feel like nobody for a while has been saying that. They're like, come on, you got to do it. You got to get on. Everybody's doing whatnot. Everybody's doing.
I think everyone should at least try it.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if it's not
sure.
for you, it's not for you. Right? Because you need to at least look at the possibilities of what it can do.
Sure.
Because when people are just, and we've all been there where it's like you're selling something and it's like, man, this is not worth what people are buying it for. But because it's an auction site, the possibilities are, endless.
So I've got a question about that. Is there an initial time like to let yourself grow? Like I couldn't just go on and do one show and kill it and do $3,000 worth of sales and be like, wow, that was great. You kind of got to get your, like in my brain, I think you kind of have to build an audience or no?
Yes. And then,
Okay.
like you were saying earlier, Liz, the community helps a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, the cool thing about what Whatnot does also is, like, when you end a show, you can send the people that are watching you to a different show. They're called a raid.
Yeah.
So let's say
yeah.
there's 10 people watching you and the show's over, you can send it to Kristen. She's fixing to have a show. So what people
Right.
do, I don't know if you're aware, they have like raid trains where you have one
Mhm.
person organizing a show for that weekend, and then it's like, all right, we'll start with Kristen, and then it'll go to Liz, and then it will go to Brendan, and then it will go to Joe. So from
Yeah.
there, people see, well, I really like Joe's stuff, and then they'll start following Joe, and they'll start looking at his shows and do stuff like that. So people start building a community, and it also helps if you have, of course, and people get this criticism all the time, if you have a really big social media following, of course you're
Mhm.
going to do well, because the people that are watching you or listening to you or following you, they're going to want to buy stuff from you.
Right.
I also think, though, there have been other people that have done some of those raid trains where it's like their first show and they've killed it on their first show
Mhm.
because they've got good stuff. If you
Yeah.
have nice things,
It's true.
people are going to follow, people are going to buy your stuff. So I don't think that it would be fair to say you have to have social media following or that you have to build up your following and whatnot. If you have awesome stuff, they
I
find
agree.
you. They're going to buy your stuff.
Right.
If it's good stuff. So I wouldn't discount their first show or your first
Right.
show and be
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're going to kill it. You might if
So
you've got great stuff.
Yeah. We were breaking down after the eBay Open like party, like they had all the different regions.
Yeah.
So the meetup coordinator in Boulder did the eBay Open party, kickoff
Yeah.
party or whatever. And we were breaking down for the event. And this guy we were like trying to carry this big heavy thing. He's like, hey, do you guys need a hand? And we're like, you know what? Yes, that would be great. Cause we're trying to get out of there. And he's like, hey, I noticed you guys were eBay. Why don't you sell on Whatnot? And it was kind of the same thing that I said here. He worked for Whatnot. He was a
Oh.
remote worker.
Mm.
Yeah. So it was pretty funny. I'm sorry. I got to turn these.
You get notifications, are you?
I couldn't hear you. There we go.
Oh, did they quit?
They died.
He died. So we're good now.
Okay.
But no, yeah, it was just funny that he's like, well, I kind of work for Whatnot. Why don't you guys sell there?
I kind of work for
I
one.
was like, why don't you bring in more people? Why don't you bring in better buyers?
I think they are,
Yeah. He's like,
growing.
okay.
Okay. I think everybody's growing, which is good because other places like Macari are not. So
Yeah. I'm curious to see how many, like what their customer base like on a daily basis is. Like how many users are on the platform. I would like to know that analytics.
you want the data, don't you?
I want the data. I do. I
Whatnot?
would like the data. Because
Yeah.
it's like if it's a lot and if it's growing and seeing the chart, then it's like, oh man, I need to, if eBay's going this way and Whatnot's going that way, then
Well, but you need to do it for the category that you want to sell stuff in, because
Correct.
there's so many more people on different categories than there are some categories. Some categories are smaller than others. So like if you're going to sell in the craft category, maybe you need to isolate that group, that demographic, and not compare it to the ones that are buying like sports cards, because they're completely different, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree.
Well, and then factor in the other platforms, Instagram live selling, TikTok live selling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the worst thing TikTok ever did was bring in TikTok shops, because it's like every other TikTok is somebody selling you something. I'm like, I don't want to see sales.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I wanted to, I just pulled up Whatnot, and our friend Harry Tornado is currently having a Whatnot. And when he
I got a
first,
notification.
when he
Four
first
cups
got
for
on
$3,
Whatnot,
2 seconds
dude,
left.
stuff would be
Who won?
going crazy.
Jill,
But I
bro.
think it's
Jill came in the last
calmed
I guess they
down
could
a
be shot
lot.
glasses.
And as you can
Bro,
see,
so-
he's
or
selling
whatever you want to hear.
I think they'd be perfect for espresso.
these
You're an
4
espresso
mugs,
person.
Ray Dunn mugs, and he's only
A
getting
little bit of
$4 for it.
Dustin,
Jill
and then
Bro.
I remember
Yeah.
that
$4
when he was hot.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
ladies.
that probably
What's
would sell for what, $30 easy?
Yeah, they called that I think they were calling it the Harry Tornado tax.
Or
Yeah.
some Ray Gun serving
Yeah.
things.
And there's
to serve and toss,
217 people
salad. Ray Gun
watching.
salad thingy.
Yeah, which is a
Yeah.
lot.
got some weight to them.
They're,
For sure.
yeah, they're.
That's a lot.
That's good though. I mean, but they've worked really hard to build that following.
Yeah.
They've worked
Facts.
really hard to make sure that they've
Neil Farm. We can take
Uh,
it for $5. That
found
is very
something that
nice
works
set.
really good for
Yeah.
them.
Somebody
Good
is
for
gonna want
them.
that, I think.
I think
So can you
Go
see
home
how many
yesterday.
people are following him
Neil
on
Farm
Whatnot?
taking on $5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Josh
can,
really likes this.
currently-
Excuse me. It's I think it's just like in a like a vintage.
We'll share this. There's currently
59.6 followers.
59,000 followers and 200 people are watching.
Mhm.
I mean, I know a lot of people can't be online at once. That is a freaking amazing. I don't even think that I've seen 59,000 people in my entire life. Come on. Right?
I'm curious to see what our
And I've
buddy
been
Philly
around
Flipper
a
has.
long time.
Yeah. But 250 people in a show. Can you imagine getting 250 people in your antique booth?
Yeah.
I mean, if you had 250 people in your antique booth for the whole day, that would be like huge.
It is.
Right.
Mhm.
And you've got them for just a short period of time. I do think that is incredible, awesome potential for
Yeah.
sure. I just am not able to devote as much time as they have a lot of time invested in
And
their
there's
work.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Correct.
Kristen, I don't know if you remember a conversation that we had. Kristen and I went shopping at the bins together when she came down from Denver one day, and we went out to the bins and we were talking, and one thing, and it just stick, we're only one person. Like, I know about me, and I think everybody here, we do this solo. I don't Joe, Nicole, I don't, but
Okay.
like, it's me.
I have help. I have help too.
Okay,
During
you've
my
got help.
one-night shows, I have help.
So I can't be all the people all at once and do all the things all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I think as sellers, sometimes we put that stress on us, especially the solo people, right? Like, we're trying to do social media. We're trying to list on 5 platforms. We're trying to go
Mhm.
live. We're trying to provide great customer service. We're trying to learn about newsletters. We want to test out something new while maintaining a family and a home or animals.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Right?
And I feel bad for the solo part-time person that
Yeah.
watches all this stuff on social media and thinks, yeah, I gotta be, I should cross post to all the platforms. I need to do that. And then I get to get the pretty poly mailers, and then I have to offer good customer service, and I have to ship things out timely. And then I need to do my live sale, and then I need to schedule this, and then I need to get 5 listings in because that's what the challenge says. And then I mean, it is overwhelming, and it makes me, as a full-time single part-time, it makes me want to push back on a lot of things. And
Right.
I can imagine that is stressful whenever you're watching your news feed, when you're scrolling and everybody's like, hustle, you can do it, we're gonna get it. It's, and I'm part of that problem sometimes too, I know, but
What do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy. Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah. So, I mean, we just kind of had that conversation. I think that we were just talking about juggling it all. I think she asked, "Oh, are you going to do a YouTube channel?" I was like, "I've been thinking about a YouTube channel for 5 years. It will never come to be. I just
Yeah.
don't have time." I want to say that
You would be
probably
great, Liz, at just pointing the camera and just talking and just uploading what you with no editing or anything like that. Just point, talk about what you want to talk about, 3 points, and then just that's it.
Or all you gotta do,
then I gotta think about the topics.
Yeah.
all you gotta
That's
just put
true.
your shorts on that you put on Instagram, just upload them to YouTube. That's all you gotta do.
Where do you find time to do all those shorts on Instagram?
They're easy for me. They take minutes.
See, I think that's the opposite. They're so hard for me, and I don't like doing them.
Well, you know what it is? If I were to do a YouTube, I would want it to be informational, and I can't do surface stuff. Like that's hard for me. I would spend 3 hours breaking down an analytic, and it still probably wouldn't be correct.
But I would watch that.
Oh my gosh. No, but I was going to say, out of all the hustles in reselling, the reselling YouTube channels, a lot of work, man.
A lot
I
of
gotta
work.
give it to everybody that has a YouTube channel. Man, it's work.
That's why this is good for us, because it's like there's no editing involved. We're having great conversation. There's value being had. You know, it's the easiest way. It is the easiest way.
You've
It's
got
a lot.
experience with being on a podcast, so
Yeah.
you know, don't you,
But
Jill?
it's work.
Why do I keep calling her Jill? Jeez. Sorry. You can edit that out, can't you?
Right.
No.
Yeah. But that's Liz, a ton of information. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
I'm sure we can go on forever. We're definitely going to have you back because, I
Thank
mean,
you.
so much information. That's all I got. I don't know if you guys have any other following questions.
I
I mean, we
one.
could do a whole other podcast on all the questions that we're going to have. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll ask Joe ask this question.
Liz, how annoying is it to go thrifting with this person?
It's not. But I will say this about
He knows from
thrifting.
experience.
Okay. Here's
She's-
my thing. Go ahead. You go
No,
ahead first.
well, that might be the same.
Okay.
It might be the same. Tell me this. She needs to rename herself when she's thrifting
Oh.
with people. Not the rural squirrel. She's the sneaky squirrel.
Sneaky squirrel.
Why do you say that?
As a non-YouTuber, how many times have we been together and out of the corner of my eye, I was like, son of a, she's recording us.
Mhm.
How many times though
knows?
did I say? Because we'd have a
Yep.
great conversation. I'd be like, "Why are we not recording this?"
No. So
Yeah.
when I'm with Kristen, I just assume that everything's being recorded now.
Mhm.
Right.
Me digging and I look at him like, how did she put her phone there? Like,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
the sneaky squirrel. I'm like,
Right.
did I ruin that? What did I say? And then I start overthinking it. I'm like,
Oh, I'm not gonna let anybody say
know
something
you
silly on
won't.
there though. Yeah, I edit.
My thing is, she'll come into my town, my state. We'll go to a Goodwill bins, and I'll bring a bingo card, and she'll dominate the bingo card game. And then she's like, "Oh, I have my own game. Whoever can find the most highest priced item." And then she dominates that every single time she comes into town. Either my both. I mean, she's got a trophy. She's got the wrestling belt from me. I mean, I'm like, yeah.
I'm a
something
very
that I'm like,
competitive person. I cannot help it. I can't.
so what I'm hearing is you need to find a way to beat her to her own game.
no,
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
When we
mean,
were little-
competitive can beat competitive. Because
when
the
we were
next time we
little,
go shopping, I'm setting up my damn camera and I'll be like, ha, I got you.
you do that though. You took a video this last
I
time
did.
when
I took
talked
one
and I went to
video.
give her a big hug. I didn't get any of that, but so listen, I'm super competitive. When we were little, my dad would say, "Okay, jammy races. You'd have to go get your pajamas on." And who could ever go like get the pajamas and get back and sit down?
He was
First,
tricking you, squirrel.
He was tricking us. I know that, but everything was a competition. So it was just his way of motivating us. And I'm sure that that's why I'm so competitive with sports and everything, analytics.
Do you feel like your competitiveness in general makes you feel like you're missing out on selling on certain,
Yes.
like Whatnot. And you've said plenty of times, you're like, okay, I'm done with Whatnot. But it's like, you're like, it's like, I just want to win. I just want to be good in that platform. I
like to put full effort in whatever it is I'm going to do. I don't want to do anything like half. I want
half what?
I don't want anything to be
half.
I don't want it to be just okay. You want to, if you're going to do something, do it with all your whole heart, your whole effort.
Full
and
ass.
You want to put your best foot forward. You don't want to just be, good enough. I don't like that. So if I can't be my best and do well with it, then I don't, then I just can't. I don't know. I'm probably too competitive on some things like that. Yeah. If there's a trophy to be won or a belt to be had, accolades of any kind, gold stars, I strive for that. That's how I function.
So what I take is that if you're having a meetup at the bins or shopping, you need to invite Kristen because she's bringing prizes.
Well, I don't know. She's
Joe
got
brings prizes.
Yeah, I bring the prizes.
And
I
you
have
one coming up.
What's that?
You have a meetup coming up, huh?
Yeah, we have one February 22nd, but we're just going to go meet at like a open restaurants area and kind of and just sit and talk and whatever. It's like a lot of people are like, yeah, meetups and going to a bins is fun, but we want to just sit and pick each other's brains.
Yep.
Like, you were saying, let's just talk about, what works, what doesn't work.
It's a mullet meetup, man.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have an eBay meetup coming up, but it's at like 2 hours from me, so I don't know if I probably won't go.
Do you run it or you're gonna go?
No, I don't know. It's because it's for Southeast Michigan. It's by it's for the Detroit area, but that's 2 hours. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to drive all that way.
When we were setting up this meetup, there's two ladies that were doing a lunch thing 2.5 hours away, and I messaged them and I was like, hey, we have a page, promote it here too, so you can get, because it's like way up north Minnesota, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not gonna. But they're like, oh, well, we'll mark the 22nd. But yeah, I'm like, this is what this Minnesota reseller page is for. Tell everybody else, maybe, or tell us so we can, or promote it so you can maybe get more people in your rural areas and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I think
it's
it's
a 2-hour drive.
Yeah,
that 2-hour drive. Think of all the thrifting on the way there and back.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's true.
If that's how, like, when I've gone to the Denver ones, it's only an hour and a half, but I'm like, what can I hit on the way there and back? What shopping can I get done? And that's how I kind of.
Isn't there like 4 bins in the area, like 4 or 5?
Yeah, I think they closed the Aurora bins, Mississippi. Yeah, so there's 3
in Denver
outlets in the Denver area. And then one down the street. Well, I say down the street, it's 20 minutes down the street from me.
Yeah.
And tons of thrifting here. Tons.
The thrift stores are there's just so much. And I think that there's different regions that have great stuff. Denver's one of those areas that just has great stuff. Phoenix has great stuff. I haven't been to very many out east, but Florida, they had great stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, Liz,
now I want to go shopping.
So yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Pick me up.
Liz,
let's go.
Come on, let's go.
Thank you so much for coming on. We definitely want to have you back at some point. Where can where can people find you?
Well, thank you so much for having me and trusting me to go live. And I am at Colorado Reworn everywhere. I pretty much stick to Instagram.
Where can they find you on YouTube?
On this channel.
There you go.
Right here.
Right here, baby. Well,
maybe next year, right?
Maybe. There you go.
Maybe.
You never know. So, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you have any questions for Liz, put it down in the comment section. She'll probably, answer them in the comment section, or we'll have her back to answer those questions in the comment
Yeah.
section, which would be great. So,
Yeah.
guys, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Ray.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Joe.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Liz.
She's
And
Liz.
we'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all, and God bless. Peace.
Peace.